My name is Charity Wilkie. I'm with PJOC, which is the Paducah Jeep Owners Club. We come out and we ride the roads, and some days we just take the main trace, and some days we do the other roads. But I grew up here, and I grew up on the lake, and I never came to LBL. And I have a daughter that, like Daly, loves it, and she asked for a Jeep for her 16th birthday so that she could enjoy LBL. The last meeting that I came to was in Grand Rivers, and I asked a question, and I actually have a couple for you. And the question is if you're not making money from selling this timber, and you can see there are so many people that are opposed to it, then why must we continue? My second question is as a group, there are so many here that are representing different people. Can we not volunteer to help fix some of these places? The silo overlook, I have a quick story. When I was a kid, I came to LBL a lot, and as a kid, you don't really remember the bus ride and all that. And my husband took me to, Terry, what's the name of the place? Empire Farms, about a year ago, and I cried because I remember that as a child, and I used to ask my mom to take me to where the baby lambs were and the little goats so I could feed them. And one of the reasons I cried is I realized that my daughter will never have that experience like I had of seeing the bees and seeing the people work in the fields and being able to buy the wax candles. And it's not that and I ask, can we not clean the forest up? Can people volunteer to help do that? And then is there anything that we can do as a community to help you, to help us save what I have just learned to love, and that my daughter loves, and Daly loves, and everybody else here loves? We just want to know what we can do so that we can save what we love. Thank you.
I'm Della Oliver, a former resident of LBL. And, I'm a little angry that we're even having to have this discussion, because it never occurred to me when LBL was taken that we would at some point be fighting for its very existence. So instead of all this time that we're wasting on these kind of meetings, why wouldn't we be wasting it or devoting it to trying to help LBL be all that it could be? It seems like such a waste of human resource to me. Dennis, did you write the Pisgah Bay project? Okay. Was there a study done on the botany of that?
Austin Peay did a botany survey on that.
Have you read that?
I did not. Botany did.
Have you read the study before the plan was drawn up?
I read the study. No, ma'am, I have not read the botany study.
How much did the study cost? Do you have any idea? I'm only asking this, Dennis, because in my heart of hearts, I think the decision was made and a lot of other stuff was done. I don't think that this has been a well thought out plan. I think the plan was in place and it's being executed. Or that's how I think the majority of us feel. And that's what Wade was talking about, the difference in language. It is partly communication, Ms. Tina. And I want to say one other thing. When you all came here, I remember in some of the early discussions, we were told as former residents, we were not who took your home. We understand that. It hurts us. We feel bad about it. Well, I'm just going to submit this for your thought. You are the one that's taking the land now. Before, and a lot of them are still around too. So really think about this. We want to work with you, but if you can't do it, we want you to leave. It's just that simple. We have no intentions of standing by and watching you burn and smother us in Lyon County and watching you cut and destroy the timber. I respect you, timberman, for making a living at what you're doing. But that's what's dividing this group, is who's making money off of it and who loves it because of what it is. told you that what you are doing is wrong. And I asked you, is there any way you could be stopped? I got the impression it was not. And I told you then, you will answer for it. That was not a threat. I'm not a violent person. I'm telling you, I read something on Facebook I thought was so good. Why is it when we destroy what man has made, we're committing vandalism and we're a criminal? And when we destroy what God's made, it's called progress. There are ways you could exist there without doing what you're doing. There are ways we can find to make between the rivers all it should be and could be without destroying it. Pisgah Bay has got to stop. The burning has got to stop. You all have got to change the way you're doing things. If that's what it takes. And if you can't find a way for us to do that, and for you to do that, then let us help you pack. We've had experience.
Estella, I thank you very much. And I thank everybody in the room, because I know you are speaking from your heart. The reason that we are here tonight is because we care for the land and we want to work with you. This is about a change in how we're doing business. We are wanting to be more involved with you and the community and how we get things done out on the landscape. Change is slow, but I'm committed to that change.
Why?
Because it's the right thing to do.
Wrong.
Wrong. Whose opinion is right?
Whose opinion says that's right?
I just wanted to follow up on that one statement, that we are committed to change. We are committed to working with you.
Why change? Ma'am?
If we work together, if we have conversations around what your concerns are, specifically with the logging, and we go out there together, then we can find ways to work together. And instead of having it be, as it's been in the past, where maybe, you haven't felt like your comments have been addressed.
Why did y'all go ahead and cut the buffer zone then, instead of waiting?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Why did you go ahead and cut in the buffer zone instead of saying, oh, it was miscommunication? Why did you not respect the words of what your commitment was made as?
It was simply that. It was a miscommunication.
It was not. It was not. I understood it from watching the news. I watched WPSD News and understood it.
Everything wrong.
I did go to college a few places, but I'm not real intelligent like you all. But I understood it.
I am committed to making these changes, and I do want to move forward, and I want to move forward with you.
You do not.
All right, first of all, this is the story of my life. I have to follow behind LBL. It's a hard thing to do. I do want to say a few things. First of all, I really am sympathetic to Tina Tilley in the situation she's in. She did not cause the current situation that's here. The management plan was put in place in 2004. There were a lot of us appealed that and tried to stop it. Some of us, I see a lot of people here. I've worked really closely with Concept Zero. Been working with for a lot of years on this. I was 10 years old when my family was moved out from here. I told Ed Whitfield one time, at this awkward age, I was old enough to know what was going on and too young to pack a gun. There was, TVA lots of times said, we really appreciate the sacrifice you made. And I'd always point out to them, we didn't make a sacrifice, we were sacrificed. When we government does that to people, there's an obligation that comes with it. And I don't care what agency it is, you can try to deny it all you want. That obligation is there. There was a commitment made to the people. One of the things, I look around and I see all the Twin Rivers people here. And I think I can say every one of you wants more than anything else for this place to be something you can be proud of. That you can feel a couple things I did want to address. Somebody said something earlier about if you don't log it, the whole thing's going to become climax forest and then it becomes decadent trees. That's an old argument, been around since back in the 50s or sometime. It's been debunked so long ago. First of all, that whole place has been logged so many times, there's nothing close to a climax forest over there. There is nothing anywhere there. A white oak tree will live 300 years, and it would be hard to find one over there. They've let it live more than 70 years. That's just nuts. It doesn't happen that way. If you go to a virgin forest, old growth forest, and I've been to a few, and I'd recommend y'all go see one. See what it is. There are natural openings, natural clearings in there, and you get the recruitment of the proper species, you get the diversity, everything else from natural storm events, from nature does take care of itself. All you're doing is trying to artificially prop up a few favorite game species. There are lots of species there. Now, we do have some area. They're talking about converting 130,000. Yes, we had to get this through FOIA information because they won't admit it publicly. They're wanting to convert 130,000 approximately acres to either oak woodlands, oak grasslands, or prairie, and connect them all together. The 8,600, I recommend everybody go see that. We've got a tour coming up. Hopefully everybody got the flyers on this. We will drive you there and show them to you. Let you see what it is. In opposition to that, the reason they're not doing the entire 170,000 acres, we managed with that 2004 management plan to get 40,000 acres protected as core areas. That was a fight. I remember when that fight was going on, there were a lot of people trying to get that excluded. We got that in there. It was one of the few sessions done to us. They're not supposed to do any management in those areas. It's supposed to be left alone as a control. It's supposed to be left alone as a control so you can compare their management to what nature does and see if it's actually improving. Those core areas, how many of you knew the word core areas? Everybody look around, 2 or 3 hands going up. Why would you not know there's core areas? Because they don't want you to know their core areas. There are no trails to them, there's no publicity about them. They don't want you to know about those. You can go into the core areas and that's where you will find the closest thing to a climax forest you're going to find in LBL. And it's a long ways from being there. And you'll see an incredible amount of diversity in those areas. And I have personally led tours of people into the core areas. And by the way, there's no trails there. You've got to bushwhack because they don't want you to see those areas. They're not promoting those. That's not the kind of recreation they want. I then take them to the 8,600. People are appalled at the 8,600. They cannot believe the devastation they're seeing. You walk them into a core area and people are in awe. They're saying, I've never seen so much diversity. It's like being in a wildlife documentary. It's unbelievable. Was in one this last weekend and was standing right in front of her, standing in a kayak right in front of a beaver dam. Had a deer standing at the bank right behind me watching me, had osprey flying overhead, had schools of fish underneath, all at the same moment. You're not going to find that in that 8,600. It's not going to be it. And I want to make this offer to any one of you. I will personally take you to the 8,600. We're going to have this trail. I will take you into the core areas and let you see for yourself. You will have to go out of your way to find out where the core areas are because they will not promote those. They won't let you know they're there. They don't want people just walking out there and enjoying what nature does for itself. They want it to be commercialized. They want it high-end recreation. In terms of the, those core areas, by the way, in that scenic management plan were listed as the least desirable areas in LBL, the ones people would least want to see. And they said that the 8,600 was what people most wanted to see. That's in their scenic management plan, yes. It's right there where it has them rated. And I challenge any of you to go and look at those two, compare them for yourselves. See for yourself what is going on. Don't take anybody's word, don't take my word. I will take you there, show it to you. All right, we will go. See me out.
Take News Channel 6 with you.
Would love to, except you can't get there. Step by foot, they're not going to walk that far. In terms of need early successional fields, we do. We need early successional stuff for deer, for turkeys, for those kind of things. There is a lot of open land in LBL right now. It's being used for agriculture, being used for power lines. They're running chippers through it, grinding it, everything else. Why have they not considered converting those to the early successional stages? And you don't have to cut a single tree to do it. And by the way, when nature manages that place, it's free. It does not cost a dime. It's free. LBL is a recreation area. It's not a tree farm. It is not supposed to be managed one. The Forest Service is under the Department of Agriculture. Its primary purpose is sustained yield. This is a national recreation area. The Forest Service was not a good fit for Land Between the Lakes. It was originally back in '64. The National Park Service. What I would like to see is an audit, a GAO audit of Land Between the Lakes, determine exactly how much money is coming in from what sources, exactly how much money is being spent on what, and figure out how much would it actually take to manage this place according to its original mission and the promise of environmental education, outdoor recreation, and stimulating the economy in the surrounding region, not their own economy. I would like that audit to be done, and then based on that, a new management plan for the Land Between the Lakes written. That 2004 plan was flawed from the beginning. The public involvement was a joke. They would not let people speak. They wouldn't record. I was at every one of those meetings, by the way, in all 3 counties and every place else they had. And I know several of the rest of you were, and they would not write down the comments you made. It was, we need a new management plan, and if the Forest Service can't do that, I'm hoping they can. I'm hoping they will come around and do this, and if they won't, we need to do whatever it takes to get Land Between the Lakes changed to another agency that will manage it properly. And by the way, one last thing, yes, you can hunt on a national park. If the legislation says you can, that's a lie that you can't hunt on national parks. Don't let anybody tell you that. If the legislation says you can hunt, you can hunt. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me in the back? Hear me in the back?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Gail Nickel. I'm one of the descendants of both of my grandparents from LBL, many family members. Way over the last 5 years, actually all my life, Mom's always brought us back down after they ran everybody out of LBL years ago to build the lakes. In the last 20 years, she's watched her grandkids grow up coming down here, walking the trails. I can go back in the woods in Cravens Bay, and I can show you where my grandma and grandpa's house was, my great-grandparents' house down behind the St. Stephen's Church. I can walk, I really didn't think I would remember this much, but I can remember going to so many different places that were farms where my mom's cousins grew up, their uncles or aunts. I would like to be able to see future years. My daughter's 25 now, maybe her and the rest of the cousins to be able to come down and walk those trails and enjoy that history. I love the history. I love the forest. I don't think you have to destroy a forest to have a forest. I think they've always been there. But I do have one question that I need to ask, and that would be to the Forest Department. Keep into consideration that when TDA had the land And they came in and went through their process, and all those peoples were moved out, and it was not successful. And then you guys, it was pushed off or handed over wherever how it came into your hands. If you go in, and this is just a start on the 8600, and you start burning away from that, it adds to it. You start connecting those dots for those different plats Judge Waite was talking about, and you burn all of that. What if you burn all of that down and it don't work, what you're doing? Who does it go to next? There won't be anything to rebuild off of them. You'll have nothing, you won't have anything to rebuild off if it's all burned. So you might want to consider seeing, I think fixing, like he said, out at the Hematite Lake, I've also had my kids, we've all been around that. Fix those things. You want to draw people back into the forest, repair those things. You're going to attract people. I mean, advertise it through the country, like people go to Yellowstone and stuff like that. Do that for this, you know. But I know change happens. I know it's going to happen. But just remember, if you burn this, it's gone. You can't fix it. It's gone. So, I mean, you know, if there's another way to go about, they've done logging in there, I know all along, because I've been coming down on the ladder. But not clear cutting it. But there's got to be a better way to go about it. So, I mean, take everything into consideration and give it your best shot. And I need to let this last person talk. Thank you for your time.
My name is Paula Willett, okay? I was raised in Reedland. I am not a former landowner resident. I remember my daddy taking me, and I remember the pain that they all felt. I remember driving the last time through Okatawa, knowing that the next time it would be underwater. When I was finally allowed, after they made them all leave, and I was allowed to go in there for the first time, it's sacred ground, it's hallowed ground, and what they're doing to it is wrong. I would like to ask the Forest Service if you guys keep your mask on, your traffic contracts, and you halt them, and not stop it. You can do it, you have to control. Don't let there be any more burning. I know you've got contracts. Just halt it. Because make it for my grandchildren, their grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. When it's gone, you will not realize this. God will take care of it. This is sacred, hallowed ground. And I'm begging you to stop the hawking and stop the contracts. You can't do that in your power. You are the government. You can stop it now and hold the contracts. And don't let another tree or another that land be burned or cut. Please. This is hallowed ground to me. I was not fortunate enough to actually live in land between the lakes. But what these people have to sacrifice, you're killing it. Do you not understand? You're raping God's plan. And you're murdering it. And all the other county executives that are taking the lead and fighting y'all. But you know what? God will prevail. And He will win. And Mother Nature will take care of herself. If God will stay out of it and allow her.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm proud to be here on behalf of Congressman Whitfield. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I had 2 other events tonight, but it looks like we've had a pretty good public meeting here this evening from what I can see, and I thank the Forest Service for holding this meeting and listening to our constituents. I just want to say on behalf of Congressman Whitfield, we appreciate you coming out this evening. We appreciate your energy and support for this issue. I think it's a good thing that we're having this dialogue and that you're letting the Forest Service know how you feel about the issues. I want to thank the Forest Service for listening. And I want you all to continue to do this. This is not the only public meeting that we're going to have on this. Congressman Whitfield is voting today in Washington, but he'll be back here this summer, and we may have some additional meetings for service with all of you. So please continue to come and express your feelings about this. I want you to know that the congressman ultimately wants our constituents to be happy and pleased with what we're doing here at Land Between the Lakes, and to make sure that we maintain the promises that were made when the land was taken by the federal government. And we're going to do everything we can to work with the Forest Service and to work with all of you to make sure that that happens. So thank you for being out here this evening, and we look forward to working with you in the months ahead.